Taurus, this is your August 24 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, this is your reading, and this is Romy. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to open up this month with the energy of the Hierophant. You're going to be fine, and it's definitely going to work out, but I do think you need some time to reflect how you feel about things and not to be rushed. You might even find yourself asking the question in August, like, how did it get here? And I think it's helpful to have that internal dialogue, but also to ensure that you are forward focused, because August is inviting this sort of beautiful reset and a time to realign with bigger visions and ideas. What do you want to commit to? And so it's a bit of a balancing act between past and present, and the Hierophant will bring some stability through for you. Of course, it does connect into your sign as well, and so it tells me that energetically the conversations that you're having with yourself and others feel like they're coming from a place of authenticity and truth for you. You're going to want to nurture your peace, because I think there are important things that you need to prioritize, perhaps new things that you want to learn, things that it's important that you are given the time to be able to share and articulate with others. And that's also going to ask that you put yourself out there. And so August in this Leo energy definitely invites you to take center stage and allow the light to shine. You are showing me that there might be some hesitation, or, you know, sort of wondering, is this the right time? Have I got the idea right? Is what I'm about to say gonna land well? And, you know, things won't change if things don't change. And so the question of, like, what are you prepared to do about it definitely comes through in this month. Now, the Hierophant suggests there might be this push-pull between sort of what I've always done before, what is convention here, what is the tradition, versus, you know, this deeper desire to want to break free, to have some more spontaneity and just kind of shake and stir things up a little bit. And I think you'll oscillate backwards and forwards in regards to that. Now, we've got our new moon in Leo arriving on the 4th of the month. The same day, Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo. It's going to jump into Leo through that backwards spin on the 14th, before stationing direct at the end of the month. So we know we've got some slowdown, we know we've got some delays, and, you know, some challenges around all the usual things that Mercury retrograde throws up for us. But that new moon in Leo is shining bright, and it's asking something of you. Page of Wands says, you know what, you've got a great idea, and I think you have a really unique approach to something as well. You can't not move forward with this. But I do think that there's something else that might be making you feel a little bit trapped. That's temporary, so it's important to have the plans in place, and actually in some instances, you know, almost double down and make things even bigger and bolder in your mind. You know, that's what's being asked of us around that new moon Leo, especially as we work our way up towards Lionsgate. You know, this is a beautiful portal of energy where you get to really assess how far you've come, the ways in which you're integrating so much, how your own vibrational energy is changing. And also, importantly, I think it invites all of us to have a revisit to the way in which we manifest things in our life. So all of the sacred tools that you adopt or not are now back under the spotlight to assess, you know, what more do I now know? Am I even still doing this practice anymore? What's worked well for me in the past? What am I open to learning and seeking inspiration from? And that's a sort of period in that first week of the month to really, you know, have a window and say, okay, like, is the things that, you know, I desire, what I'm looking to do, marrying up with the actions that I'm taking at the moment? And if not, what can I get to help me right now? Who can I get to help me right now? So a lot of good, useful inspiration coming through around that time. Please check out my Lionsgate soul journey. You'll find that over on my website, romywiser.com. It will support you in the rituals that you have. Now, on the 9th, we're going to see asteroid goddess Juno moving into Libra. She naturally rules the sign here, and I think there's something rebalancing itself. I also feel a little bit of justice and karma sort of coming in positively. something connected to agreements, contracts, relationships. Eight of Cups tells me it's time to move on. So there might have been a situation that's been grumbling and going round in circles for, you know, a long period of time, and I feel like it kind of gives you the opportunity to draw a line under something. And that's important because you've just got other things that are now taking front and center stage. And you know, there's a sense perhaps in August of you needing some reassurance. I feel you'll get it with Juno, you know, coming into Libra, and what is unfolding for you around that time. But the Eight of Cups also says that perhaps you need to be brave, and you need to give yourself permission to just say, okay, like this has had its time, it's had its day. I now need to give myself the chance to go and experience something different, someone different, whatever that is. The sort of moving on feeling around that eight is maybe a little bit bittersweet, but at the same time it brings about a sense of new adventure coming your way. And I think Leo is really wanting you to shine and to be brave in regards to that. You know, you definitely have a lot going on, and because we've got this fourth house activated, it may be that some of these conversations are centering very strongly around what's happening within the home, within the family, or within your place of work. What you want to understand is that in the process of doing this, you're also trying to continue to nurture your peace. You know, this is not about, you know, making things, stirring things to a point where conflict is charged up. It's just like, what is going to help sustain my well-being? Like, how can I do this in a state of ease and flow? Is there an easier way to do this? Is definitely a question that you're going to be asking, along with how did we get to this point, or how did I arrive at this point? August is a really powerful time because it's charging us with this opportunity to think more visionary about what's possible for us and realign with some of those soulful goals. At the same time, astrologically speaking, there's quite a lot of jarring moments, and times where we feel we're a little bit backed into a corner. You know, there's a few triggers happening for us. This doesn't have to be negative. You know, sometimes the losses can liberate us. Sometimes the times we feel most challenged, you know, are when we really get very clear about what we want, because we have those moments where like, well, I'm never going to put myself in this position again, or I'm never going to allow that to happen again. Five of Pentacles talks about what isn't there. You know, you're very aware in August of what's missing, what's lacking. But I think that's so important because it then helps you to put some framework around that and figure out, well, what is it going to take? What do I need to do to ensure that I can bring about a change in regards to that circumstances or the conditions that I find myself in pertaining to that? So the challenge is on. You definitely feel in some way that there is something that you're going to have to deal with, you have to face. However, it almost gives you like a platform to jump off from. It gives you some leverage, something to sort of push against and say, right. And you know, we've got Mars conjunct Jupiter in Gemini happening on the 14th, and then from the 14th right up to the full moon on the 19th, you know, there's some interesting astrological conversations, right? They're pushing us, they're testing us, they're saying, you know, what do you feel? What do you want? You know, what's making you split your energy? Where's the discord happening? And so although you can feel into that frustration, and it's sort of compounded with Mercury retrograde and fire sign of Leo, right? We're experiencing that through this year, the Mercury retrogrades through fire signs. I really believe that you come out of that whole experience with a certainty and a knowing, and actually a real sort of revitalized life force to just say, this is what I'm going to take on, this is what I'm going to do about it, this is it. And I kind of hear you saying those words, you know, first and foremost to yourself, but then ready to tell other people too, you know. We have the Four of Cups coming through here, and I think to a certain degree I want to say to you, this is about detachment. You know, when we can foster an energy of detachment to the things that feel like they're coming in to most rile us up and most trigger us, then we're winning, right? You know, we acknowledge what's happening, we can process it, we can calmly and with a grounded, balanced approach, you know, figure out what it means for us, what it's trying to show us, and how it's directing us perhaps in our own healing journey. So detachment, you know, again, even from the scarcity, so where there's challenge, you know, sort of knowing that you need to do something, but not allowing the emotional experience to overwhelm or to hold you back. I don't actually see that anything holds you back in the month of August. You know, even if it is a perception that you may have in terms of the way that the universe might be constantly sending you down some you know, red herring routes, or, you know, sort of dead ends, but all of it is an experience that helps you by the time you get to the end of the month to just know with such clarity and such an alignment as well. And so perhaps something was a little bit misaligned, and you know, you're going to be able to sort of connect the dots and make sense by the time you come out of this period, this season, as to why it needed to go in that direction, because you're like, all right, now I see something I hadn't seen before, or now I see where I was just kind of creating that imbalance for myself. So, you know, we have this full moon in Aquarius arriving on the 19th, and there's a little bit of this energy of, you know, desiring to be free versus some of the duty and responsibility that we feel we're being put under. Now, this Aquarius moon for me is delivering some really unique solutions, but it's only because we've almost had to try every other way. And almost at the point where you're like, okay, enough, I give up. And there it is. It's like a little jewel shining. And you will get to that point. Three of Wands says you've got to have some self-belief and courage and hold the vision, you know, even at the point where you feel like a lot of things are almost like not coming together in a way that you'd hoped or anticipated, but you just can't see the full picture. There is an absolute eureka moment coming in around that full moon in Aquarius. And I think that, you know, you're also working out, even if you look at a number of different approaches to try to do something, what is the one that's going to be most sustainable for you as well. Now, you've got some important news and information that also is pertaining to a choice or decision that you make about moving on. It's almost like as soon as you decide to do that, the universe says, yeah, okay, now you're ready to receive this, or now you're ready to hear this, or see this. And that information, that energy, that's a bit of a game change, you know, that's something that all of a sudden sort of pulls the curtain back, and you're like, wow, okay, what was I waiting for? This is it. This is what I needed to do in order to prepare myself, or to be ready to align or hold space for this to start to flow in. I think you're also either reaching out to try to get some support, or reaching out to try to connect to somebody. It's like they're there, but they're not there. Yeah? So they're showing up, they're saying, you know, what they need to be saying or what they ought to be saying, but there's just some sort of disconnect in the energy, and you feel the offness of that, whether that's in family, friendships, a co-worker, you know, there's some sort of relationship dynamic that, you know, you're just really attuned and sort of psychically connected to the fact that something's off, something isn't right. I don't think forcing the issue is going to be helpful, especially during that sort of retrograde time where communication can get a little bit more challenging. I think from the 28th onwards, and as we move into Virgo energy, lights up that 5th house for you, things just feel a little bit more open and easier and fluid, and almost communication just naturally returns to its state of balance, you know. So I just feel if you kind of leave it, it's going to right itself, and then you'll hear what you need to hear. If you try to force it, it almost creates more of a division or more of a divide, okay? If you are new to my channel, Taurus, we cover our last 3 cards in the extended version of my reading. We're going to talk for another 30 minutes or so, look at a personal question and a relationship card for you. I hope you'll join me if you are aligning to the reading. The investment just helps me to continue to show up to do the free readings, so really appreciate it. You'll find the link in the comment description box underneath. So just going to go ahead and clarify these cards, see the direction that we're going to be taking this reading for you. Okay, so Hierophant brings through energy of strength and the 2 of Wands. Now, over on my website, romywiser.com, you are going to find my oracle deck, Life Soul Vision, also my book, my Musings, Ways to Work with Me, all my sacred soul support, including that Lionsgate ritual for you this month. So please take the time to come connect with me over there. Okay, 5 of Pentacles. What do we have here? 4 of Swords, 7 of Cups. There's a quietness, you know, it's just like something's gone really quiet or feels really quiet, and there's some confusion around that as well. You know, I almost want to say to you, just take advantage of that. You know, you can use that time wisely to have some respite for yourself. You know, things will shift and change once again. Ten of Swords, Ace of Wands. Interesting. All the decks that I use are always listed below as well, Taurus. Okay, so we're going to have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle now for you. Let's see. We have the Queen of Air, light language. We've got portals of possibility, throat energy. We've got Maverick of the Light, Dancer of the Shadows. We've got Alchemize the 8 coming through here, and we have Third Eye energy. Two of these higher chakras needing some attention from you this month, Taurus. Okay, let's pull one more oracle for you for the month of August. What do we have? The road is clear. You know what to do. Walk it your way. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll come on to the extended. Have a great month ahead, and I will see you again soon.